dropped one of them. Oh, grabs 2, 3. Two great pilots. In fact, Fluffy's just gonna land on him and take him out with the tire. Oh my God, Monster getting a roadkill with the plane.
They're going to be dedicated just on the air combat side of things. Looking forward to Battlefield 5. Fair play, absolutely outstanding. Oh my days! Oh my goodness, and he gets the two-piece, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, and there it is right there. We're moving to the top.
Oh, getting an awesome kill on Marcelo there. That was on point.
And that right there is how you dogfight, ladies and gentlemen. What a play.
Hardcore League, the only place for competitive battle. Competitive.
Hey guys, and welcome to the stream. My name is KLW HitmanPike, Battlefield Esports Shoutcaster with the one, the only, the Hardcore League. And joining me this evening, guys, we're very lucky, very privileged indeed. We've got Mr. Deadeye, Mr. Battlefield Esports himself, representing, of course, again, the Hardcore League. Dead, how's it going? Welcome on board to Shots Fired Podcasting.
It's going good, brother. It's going good. Happy to be here. Been looking forward to this for a little while, so I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is something that's been planned and in development for quite a while now. And I know we're both excited to definitely fire out a little bit of interviewing and then a few other bits and bobs that we're going to be covering as well, guys. We've got quite a lot coming up over the next few months for you guys to get involved with, pre-release to Battlefield 5. And we're really excited to sort of tell you what we've got coming up ourselves in Phoenix Elite Aerial League, plus a few people out there, a few other communities running some pretty interesting some matches. We've got Texas Pothead in the chat representing Phoenix Aerial League. So welcome, dude. How's it going? Hope you're having an absolutely fantastic evening. All right, guys. So on to our first topic, which of course is going to be what's going on between now and Battlefield 5 release. As we've mentioned before, we've got the Phoenix Elite Aerial League network running their flight path to Battlefield 5, if I'm not mistaken, Dead, and that's going to be kicking off tomorrow. So, Dead, any thoughts on? Because obviously we've had a few matches and events with PAL before in the past. Based on that, have you got any idea who's going to take this? Do you think any winners, any dead certs out there?
I'll have to double check and see who all we got in there. I'll take a look at that real quick. But yeah, we do have a lot going on. That kicking off tomorrow. I believe that is 4 p.m. Central. Is that correct? I'll have to double check the times on that. I believe it is 4 p.m. You can find that at hardcoreleague.co on our calendar. And I'm looking right now to see who we have signed up here. Let's see. I know that the PAL guys always put on a very, very good show. So let's see who we've got. It looks like we've got 11 teams signed up there. We've got Bear Force 1, Point Gap, Strike Team 6 Air, Bega Prototype, Team of Impressive Individuals, Jabs and J, RFC, White Raven, Our Nemesis, and Scent. And let's see who we have as far as individual participants as well. See if we can find some of those names on there. I think they just signed the teams up, but I know they've got a lot of really, really good pilots over at PAL. I mean, that's what they're about, is the aerial stuff, and you've been a part of them. I've been a part of them. They always put on a really, really good show. And you always kind of think, how, just two planes flying around battling each other, how can that be exciting? But once you get in, you actually watch one of those dogfights go down, the stalls, the maneuvers, just the pure skill of these competitive pilots is always impressive. Even though I've shoutcasted several air tournaments, our own tournaments, some of the PAL events, it still impresses me to this day to see these competitive pilots take to the air and do what they do best.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head there. I found, from a shoutcasting perspective, watching these guys, it's actually quite sort of almost mathematical experience for them. They've really got to. It's about finding that right balance of speed, distance, and what your angle is in relation to that aircraft that you're trailing. And I think it's a good way of developing your theory and understanding of how to become a better pilot on the battlefield, and obviously support your team and stay alive for longer. But just as Dead tapped on there's a lot of maneuvers, a lot of techniques that can get utilized by the pilots, and obviously we've got some of the higher end skilled pilots here, with some incredible statistics. We've got people like Fluffy Marshmallow, who are just like one of the best pilots in the world in Battlefield, cross-platform, and we've also got some great teams out there. We've got, did you say LRP are going to be represented in some way or another? I believe they always.
I imagine there will be some pilots from LRRP. I didn't see the LRRP name there as far as representing as LRRP, but I would be extremely surprised if we didn't see some of the LRRP pilots in there.
Sure thing, and I recognised a few of the names out there already, but I see we've also got some new teams, which is always awesome to see, and of course we've got new teams coming on board all the time here at the Hardcore League, and of course with PAL as well. Those guys bring along a lot of new people to the battlefield who otherwise perhaps wouldn't have tried Battlefield esports in the ground infantry tank context, but were interested by the perspective of going up in the air and fighting upstairs in the air. But I really look forward to taking those Spitfires up and seeing what they're going to be like. Spitfire versus Messerschmitt. It's going to be a whole new generation, a whole new concept to aerial warfare. So looking forward to Battlefield 5. I think that is going to be an extremely exciting situation developing. What do you think, Dad?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, and one thing I'm really excited about is the audio and visual on it. If you played the beta or the alpha at all, when those planes come across and those shots were coming down, just the audio on that was so amazing. I'm excited to see the dogfights coming from that and expanding on that. PAL is, as they focus on the air, the vehicles, I'm hearing word through the grapevine they will be expanding to provide support for tanking events as well. So I'm excited to see those go down also.
Oh my days. Seriously, I did hear ramblings on the grapevine, but that is some exciting news. Guys, I don't know whether you just clocked that, but Phoenix Elite Aerial League are going to be doing tank support. That is just an incredible... Oh, I'm so excited. Yes, 100 times yes. Battlefield esports is headed in the right direction. What a great idea. So, do we know any more about that at the moment, Dad, or are they Phoenix Elite keeping cards close to their chest on this one?
Well, they're still getting it set up. As any good thing, it takes time and care to make sure that it's going to run smoothly. So they're getting everything set up with it, and we will be. We'll be dropping little nuggets of information that you won't get elsewhere throughout this podcast. I've got a few things up my sleeve that I'm going to be dropping today as we're talking. But yeah, the boys over at PAL, they know how to do their vehicle stuff. I know that they're getting the tank support lined out, leagues, divisions, standings, how it's going to be done. A lot of that's going to determine or be determined by Battlefield 5 and what kind of options they have there. But I'm super excited about it. The tanks didn't get a lot of love in Battlefield 1, not as much as they did in Battlefield 4. When you had that, what was that called? The armored mode, armored.
It was in Battlefield 4. There was, I believe, it was armored assault.
It was armored something. I forget the name of it, but yeah, they had. You had the armor. Where you could focus purely on the tanks, and we did a couple of events for tanks back in the day. But we're super excited to be partnered with PAL in both the Aerial League and soon to be the Tank League. So if anybody's watching this and you want to get some tasty nuggets of some stuff that we're going to be doing prior to Battlefield 5, you're going to want to get them in on this podcast, as we're going to be dropping some stuff here shortly as we move on. I'm going to be giving some information about a big project that we've been working on. We've been leaking a little stuff here and there, giving a little information on it, and I'm going to break down some of that stuff today.
Well, there you go, guys. Hearing it from the horse's mouth himself, Mr. Deadeye. And of course, Mason unfortunately couldn't be here today. He's been having some issues with his plumbing, but he does send his regards to the community and looks forward to shoutcasting you all soon on the field. Just a little shout out to Mr. Bosch as well, who's been working fearlessly with the community management role, just getting things really sorted out, structured away, getting a lot of policies written down. So guys, we are working very hard behind the scenes to make your Battlefield esports experience even more professional and, you know, and just great, all around great. So guys, if you've enjoyed what you've listened to so far and it's your first time in the channel, don't forget to hit that follow, hit that like, hit that share. Of course, you are joining myself, KLW HitmanPike, Battlefield Esports Shoutcaster, and the founder / shoutcaster of Hardcore League, Mr. Deadeye. We're having a little chat, Tate at the moment, guys, and as Dead has just mentioned, we have some really tasty nuggets or little morsels of information coming up that will be pertinent to you guys in the Battlefield Esports arena. So recently I've been playing a lot with the various teams out there, just trying to get to know everybody outside of the esports context, get into the pub matches, and just get to know the communities and the individual members. And of course, been playing a lot with Enjoy recently. Enjoy Gaming Platoon have been with Hardcore League for quite a number of years now, pretty much since our conception. And they have provided us with many great fixtures over the years. Unfortunately, one of the issues I've had with Enjoy recently is they are a little bit trigger happy at times in pub servers. And now I've been accused of running into their bullets. I'd just like to put it out there, guys. At no point have I ever deliberately run into Enjoy's bullets. I believe Enjoy are actually tracking me down and hunting me. So anyone wants to help out with that, anyone wants to come and back me up and sort of be my bodyguard in a pub game, that would be much appreciated, because it seems like I am literally being hunted by Enjoy members. So here's an interesting bit of information, Dead. I was checking my statistics the other day, and I always play with Enjoy Boyer, who I know you're very familiar with. Boyer is a member of Hardcore League staff. Again, he's been with us for a long time now. Does a lot of work behind the scenes, scouting the various communities with Enjoy Silent and a couple of the other staff members. But unfortunately, Boyer has somehow, despite the fact that I always play with him, managed to become my he's killed me the most. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but he's basically the person that I need to stay away from on the field, despite the fact I'm always in a squad with him on his side. So I just thought that was incredibly funny.
Well, I've dubbed oh Booyah, I love Booyah. I've dubbed him the Bear Booyah. This is what I've called him.
The Bear Booyah.
Based on a video he had one day of a bear coming up onto his property. But like you, I spend a lot of time whenever I jump in and I game. I try to get in with various communities and players, you know, both from the competitive side, non-competitive side. I jump in with PG often, Enjoy, SWAT, Raven. Anybody that I find on that's part of the Hardcore League, I like to jump in and play with them. LRRP, I actually got some rounds in with Texas the other day. Had a really good time. I just like to be in there and get that time in with the communities, you know, and see how they're playing, see what they're playing, see what they're doing, and stay connected along with the regular community and our stream team. You know, I played a little bit with Toe You Up and Nick the Grizzly. Also played some with Reese's Pieces last night. I actually jumped in your game, Pike, and you bailed out as soon as I got in. I was kind of hurt about that.
Yeah, I think we've discussed this before, Dad. I don't feel comfortable playing with you in Battlefield. My statistics are just that terrible compared to yours. My kill death ratio, I just can't. I have to just bow down in your presence.
That's understandable. Which, you know, due to running the league, my game time has suffered tremendously. But I'm always surprised at how well I do. You know, I still haven't lost it, not yet, knock on wood. I'm still able to hold my own when I jump on the battlefield. I'm super excited about it, and I did really good in the Battlefield 5 beta, so I'm really excited for Battlefield 5 to drop and to start climbing the leaderboards on that.
I believe one of the videos, in fact, one of the top 5 videos, I think it was from was it from August? Or was it from September? I can't remember.
September.
It was September. It's the one running at the moment. Of course, it would have been because that's when the beta was. And I believe it's yourself, and you managed to get, I think, is it a 7-piece or is it a 6-piece? But either way, you just go full-on war crime on the enemy team.
Booyah! Yes, sir. This is live, my man. You are live. I know. Pike likes to play tricks on people and run these podcasts, making them look live. But nope, this is live right now, my friend. Live right now. Yes, that is. I forget the count. I believe it was 6. I'm not 100% sure. I think I shot 3 people and knifed 3 people. I was a little too excited to actually keep count. Couldn't find my clip button at the time. Got to give a shout out to JT Storm with AOD for clipping that for me. He was there to save my bacon on that one. But yeah, it was a really good flank that I got, and I was excited about it. I think that was the biggest kill streak that I got in Battlefield 5.
It certainly looked like an oh my days moment, and it's just a shame that we didn't have anyone in spectator covering it, because it would have looked, from the new spectator mode, incredible. And of course, guys, if you haven't had a chance to catch up with where Battlefield 5's going with spectator mode, it's extremely exciting, especially from the perspective of esports shoutcasters. I know, Dead, you're of the same mind. We're going to be able to do so much more camera work, camera trickery, catch so many more angles, and it's gonna look beautiful, guys. beautiful. So
absolutely. I jumped into spectator when they released it there during the beta, and spent a good amount of time in spectator and playing with it. One of the main things that I really liked is it had, despite what people may think, EA and DICE listens to what the community says. And when you go into the spectator mode, you realize that as soon as you see the fact that the spectator mode now has 2 preset layouts, one for content creators and one for broadcasters and shoutcasters. And that is absolutely amazing, because you can, whether or not you're capturing footage, getting stills, or getting stuff for your content, or shoutcasting, you can select between the 2 presets, and all the settings that you have saved in both are there and ready for you to use. So you can, if you're somebody that does both, like myself, I like to get footage for our videos and things like that, but I spend most of my time commentating. You're able to switch between the 2 very quickly, and it was so in depth, I almost didn't have time to get into everything. But one of the things I'm most excited about, and I think will really be neat for competitive matches, is the projectile cam for grenades and things like that. I think that is going to be super neat to see how that works out in a competitive setting.
Absolutely. In terms of the analytics and our breakdowns, especially post-match breakdowns, are going to just become that much more deep and thorough. So you guys are really going to have the bare bones of your gameplay analysed, and we're going to come back to you with some pretty solid facts and figures to help you guys become better communities, become better gamers. And that's what it's all about here at the Hardcore League. We want to develop people as a community, give people an opportunity and a platform in which to showcase their skills from, and really demonstrate to the wider gaming community, the Battlefield community, just what it is that you have to offer. Now, guys, this has never been something that's really been done on, especially on this scale, before in Battlefield. We've obviously got a lot of things supporting us nowadays, like Twitch. We've also got a lot of other people involved behind the scenes. So this is a great opportunity for Battlefield esports to progress, and it's a great time to join the Battlefield esports circuit. And if you want to do that, guys, of course, all you have to do is head over to hardcoreleague.co. I'm sure one of our lovely mods will pop it up in the chat, a little link there for you guys to check out. because this really is an exciting time to be involved in the Battlefield arena. I've been involved with Battlefield since 2005. I came on board with Battlefield 2, and this is the largest the community's ever been. This is the most passionate the community's ever been. And right now, all I can see is us going up as a community, and that's just great, because I think one thing that we need to protect with this game is longevity. I want to be able to play this game with my grandkids, you know, and to do that, we're going to have to think, what can we do to really, you know, to secure this game for future generations? And I think Battlefield esports is definitely one of those ways of achieving that. The esports scene is an absolutely massive industry now. It's obviously been developing since the mid-90s, really, but it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we're just looking forward to sort of seeing what we can do with the Battlefield esports side of things, because, you know, Battlefield as a game, it is just incredible. The emphasis on teamwork and working together, communicating efficiently, you know, you just don't get that anywhere else necessarily in any other game. And if you do, it's just definitely not on the same scale. You know, 64 players going up against each other, and we at the Hardcore League, we really want to keep Battlefield esports true to Battlefield the game, and, you know, we don't want to add loads of silly rules in there and make it, you know, unplayable for you guys. We want you guys to enjoy the game as it was designed to be played.
Well, basically, it boils down to, you know, if you pick up Battlefield, never played it or played the previous titles or what have you, you pick up Battlefield, you start playing it, and you notice that you're rocking the top of the scoreboards. You know, you're going to want to know, where do I go from there? How do I step it up? Well, traditionally, when you would go to step it up, it would you would find a league. You would look to go to competitive, and you'd find a competitive league. And then when you get in there, you kind of realize that you're unable to play to your best ability, because the kit or the guns or the gadgets that you have honed and learned to use are no longer valid. You're not able to use those because rules restrict those. And as a competitive player, you know, played competitively for years in large-scale Battlefield, it's completely doable, just due to the very good rock paper scissors setup that Battlefield has produced. You know, it allows a counter for everything offensive and vice versa. So that is very, very exciting. And as HitmanPike mentioned, if you want to get involved, what you're going to want to do right now is you're going to want to go over to the hardcoreleague.co, scroll down and subscribe to our newsletter, because we are about to release something that we've been working on for months. Our staff, our team leaders have been privy to it, and Pike, I think I'm ready to. We're not going to give out the address to it yet. We might even hold back the name, but I think we're ready to let people know what we're going to be bringing for Battlefield 5. You know, you had a good segue there talking about moving forward into Battlefield 5, how we plan on really coming in strong and pushing the competitive scene in Battlefield 5. So, are you ready, Pike?
I am ready, guys. Just to touch on this and just to draw out this a little bit longer, the anticipation. What Dead is about to talk about is absolutely massive, guys, and you are going to love it. This is going to be amazing, and really looking forward to seeing everyone's reactions. But you heard it here first, guys. Shots Fired Podcasting, Hardcore League's official podcast. Fire away, Dead.
All right, so something that we've been doing in between Battlefield 1 and the launch of Battlefield 5 is really revamping our staff and getting everything well oiled so that we can hit the ground running on Battlefield 5. And part of that was our competitive coordinators, our team liaisons, our community managers, getting with, Sugar Pack just dropped us a follow. Thank you very much. Our team leaders, our team liaisons have scheduled meetings with them. We got a lot of information, and we really took stock of the Hardcore League, what we did right, what we did wrong, what we could do better. And we took all that information, and we will be releasing a website for our teams and communities coming up for Battlefield 5. In fact, we're going to be releasing that really soon. It will be before the beginning of November that we will release that. And it may be as early as 3 days from now, just depending on if we can get it good and polished and the final touches on it. But this new website that we're going to be revealing for our teams, our players, the community, is going to be extremely robust on all sides. So what you're going to be able to do with the new website I can't give you the name because you may be able to find it if I do. And we don't want you to just yet. But when you go to this new website, you are going to be able to create your personal profile, your team profile, and you're going to have two sides of both of those. You're going to have a public profile for yourself and your team, and then those looking to advance and start competing will be able to create their competitive personal and team profile. And both the personal or the public and the competitive profiles for both the individual and the teams are extremely customizable. You have a lot of control over them. And the site is completely social, like Twitter, Facebook, so on and so forth. You'll be able to share media, jump in the forums. You'll be able to @, people. You will be able to do a ton of stuff publicly with your public profile. Like I said, you'll be able to @ people. You'll be able to chat, share media, forums, you name it. If it's social, you're going to be able to do it with the new Hardcore League site. Additionally, the competitive profile side of it is one that I am most excited about. Your competitive side of your profile is going to house everything competitive related. That's going to include stats for both teams and individual players. You will be able to decide what leaderboards show up on your competitive profile. If you're competing in multiple different seasons, or say your team has multiple different platforms they play on, let's say your team is in PlayStation and Xbox, well, on your competitive profile, you will be able to show the leaderboards that you're competing in. It'll have a roster list on there for you with their stats of your individual players based purely on competitive performance. What we wanted to do was we wanted to provide a place for teams to build and document their competitive career, both teams and players. So at the end of a match, coming into Battlefield 5, players and teams will have the ability to submit their stats based on the match that they played in. Those stats will come in, be reviewed by the Hardcore League. Then we will approve them or deny them based on that review, and it will go on their competitive record. And players will have the same customizations as a competitive team profile does. They'll be able to go in, decide what leaderboards they show. They can show their career totals. They can just show their stats for the current season that they're playing in. If a player plays on multiple platforms, he can show his stats per platform. It is a very robust system. Additionally, and one of my favorite things that we're going to be implementing in the new Hardcore League site for our teams is our badge system. The Hardcore League has always been built on positive community engagement, and we're taking that a step further with our badge system. What we're going to be doing with our badge system is it's going to be awards that members of the website can earn. There's a couple ways to earn these. They can be earned by the Hardcore League staff, or they can be earned by nominations from the communities or nominations from your team. So if you're a positive player, you don't rage, you're always, got a positive outlook, helping other members and things like that, you can be nominated for a positive player badge. If you're interested in the team badges and you play for a team and you are one of those players that always pulls clutch moves, and you are able to, pull those 1v4s or 1v3s. Don't panic. Don't rage. Your team can nominate you for a Playmaker badge. And all of these badges attach to your profile and stick with you for your entire career at the Hardcore League. So should you leave a team, go into the free agents, those badges are going to stay with you when a team goes to look at you. A team leader is looking for new members, browsing through the free agent section. They're going to be able to click on your awards and see if your team has awarded you any badges, has the community awarded you any badges. And it's just another incentive for players to be positive and engage the community positively. There's a lot more that's going to be to the site. But I think we've dropped enough on it for right now.
Sure, Dad. I mean, that is some very exciting things to be thinking about there, guys. I mean, this really is going to enable us as shoutcasters and us as a league to really give you guys as much information as possible surrounding the specifics of your esports conduct. So you're going to really be able to break down people's profiles and what makes them tick, and that is going to give us just a wealth of information to talk about during podcasts and shoutcasts. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more people get on board with this. It's really great to be able to sort of talk about it with you guys and just give you a little tidbit of information of things to come. But I have actually heard this called the new Facebook of Battlefield. So we'll see. I just think less toxicity and more positivity. But basically,
well,
we'll see.
Yeah, that it has definitely been called that, and again, the main goal, as EA listens to their community, we try to do the same thing, and I think we really accomplished it with this. This is going to address a lot of problems that have plagued the competitive community. And anybody who's been involved in the competitive community, in the Discord chats and things like that, you're well aware of these issues. Team dodging, poaching. There's several issues that have been around in the competitive community, and we have geared this new site to combat nearly every one of those. We've got things in place. Oh my days. Real dumb jumping in with the host. Thank you very much. One of our staff members over with our content creation team, our graphic designers. He also does our voiceover work, which you guys soon, as I'm currently in the process of working on something that he did for us. But yeah, we are going to be addressing a lot of the problems, or looking to fix a lot of the problems that exist competitive Battlefield community, like teams dodging other teams, a competitive team coming in and not wanting to compete against other teams for fear of losses and things of that nature. We have systems and processes in place for the new competitive seasons in Battlefield 5 that will severely diminish a lot of these problems, including fly-by-night teams that just pop up for one event or another one and try to pull players from other teams. We have a lot of things in place that is really going to dissuade that and reward teams for sticking together, for investing time in their teams, investing time in their players, and just being a beacon of the competitive community. Our head moderator in here, Miss QTM Squared, dropping some biddies. Thank you, ma'am. Are there any... Booyah jumps in and says, is there any badges for accidentally team kill, even though it wasn't an accident?
I knew it was going to come.
Like in a comment. For that there? Called the we'll call it the collateral damage badge.
Yeah, I think Boyer definitely would. That would be a badge for Boyer. We should even possibly name it after Boyer. The Boyer Collateral Damage Badge.
Collateral Booyah Badge.
The Collateral Booyah Badge. The CB. All right, so guys, that ties in a little bit to our next topic, and basically that's just how we want to make Battlefield esports accessible to as many people as possible. This isn't going to be a skill-based thing. This isn't going to be something that you're going to necessarily have to have a good kill-death ratio to come in there with and to participate and reap the benefits and enjoyment of. So looking forward to that, guys. We just really want to be seen to be representing everyone here, from the esports professional guys out there who are doing this to sort of for the money, to the competitive teams out there who are doing it for the statistics and doing it for the glory, to the casual guys that just turn up to the events and enjoy getting involved with everything that's great about the informal side of things. And obviously one thing here at the Hardcore League that we like to do is we like to try and support and get involved with other communities' events as much as possible by providing shoutcasters or advertising those events. So of course, guys, if you do want your event to be advertised, all you have to do is head over to hardcoreleague.co. I think it's /events, if I'm not mistaken there, Dead. I'm sure someone can put a link up in the chat there for you guys to check out. But if you want your event to be advertised, if you want a shoutcaster to come along, and myself, Deadeye, Mason, Dum or one of the other the guys out there, then all you have to do is fill out the event information form on the website. And it just gives us that heads up and lets us know. We will put that up on our website calendar. That will also be advertised by the Hardcore League staff. And right now, there is a lot of Hardcore League staff working very hard behind the scenes to bring you guys all this awesome Battlefield esports and really push the events out there being hosted by those awesome communities.
Absolutely, and that right there, one thing we want everybody to know is this isn't a 1, 2, 3-man show. It is the Hardcore League has a lot of staff that dedicate a lot of time and effort and energy and passion into what we do, and that's what allows us to operate the way that we do. We always we I don't want to say always, we normally get really good feedback on our events, whether it's community, competitive, from the organizing down to the production of it, the shoutcasting of it. And none of that is done by 1 or 2 people. You may just see mine or Pike's face on the screen, shoutcasting the events. But that stuff there is so much work done in the background by our staff. It still impresses me. And I've seen these guys doing it this entire time, there's a lot of people in the background that make all of this happen, that facilitate it. And we could not do it without them, and we also could not do it without our teams as well. The teams play a huge role in it. And like you were mentioning, unlike other competitive leagues, we also incorporate the community because we know how important that is. One, that's where competitive players come from. They're going to start in the community, and then they're going to move to competitive most of the time. It's not often you see people just pick up the game and then just jump straight into competitive. They end up finding some people, playing with them, and spending time playing with a team, and that makes them realize that they want to take it to the next level when it comes to team play, and we couldn't do that without our community. And the new site is going to facilitate those communities as well, which is why we have it broke into 2 sides, the public profiles and the competitive profiles. So communities like the Battlefield Ladies Night, Girl Club Soldiers, Xbox One community, should they choose to jump on there and mingle with the competitive community and talk about things that are going on within the Battlefield community, we're going to possibly want from Battlefield all the latest news updates. We're going to have videos from our partners over at Ascend. We'll have their videos up as soon as they come out over on our channel or over on that new site. We're going to have information about Battlefield. The forums will be full of stuff. We'll be able to help you out with questions. And something that I'm glad that Bosch went to lunch, so he's not hearing this. Another thing that we're going to be doing that I don't know if they're absolutely ready to reveal it, but I'm going to give a little sneak peek of it as well, is team building. Most of our staff here at the Hardcore League is made up of former competitive players, former team leaders, things like that, that understand what it takes to build, run, and manage a team. And so several of the staff members have got together with current competitive leaders who have a passion for the entire competitive community and are working on some different things, without me saying too much, to help facilitate new teams or teams that need some direction. They need to know what to do next. They need to know how to keep the team together, how to keep them engaged, all the way down to tactics and things like that. We are going to have a program in place to help competitive teams grow and build with advice from current competitive team leaders and previous competitive team leaders. So it's really exciting. We are going to have so much stuff. Your head might explode. I know mine has been for months, just putting it all together. So if you're not excited, again, we'll be releasing this really soon. So you're going to want to keep an eye on our Twitter, on our Discord, on the website. Sign up for the newsletter. We'll be sending one out as soon as we go live with this. We'll give you all the information. Our boy Dum Dum, he has got the narration down for a nice little video that's going to get everybody acquainted to the new site and let them know all the ins and outs of it. It is, I am super excited about it. I think it is going to be well received by both the competitive and the casual community when we go live with it.
I think, Dead just touched on it there, guys. One of the things that we've really gone away and thought about here at the Hardcore League is accessibility and making this a smooth process for you guys, because in the past it hasn't been easy to necessarily get signed up to competitive teams. And one thing that we want to do, especially establishing a competitive team, it can be an absolute nightmare, but we want to really streamline that process and support the teams out there to reach their full potential, so that they can get to that point where they're able to showcase themselves out on the field. So that's definitely, one of the areas that we will be concentrating on heavily. And of course, guys, we'll touch on it a little bit here, Dad. But from our experience, when you're looking at starting up a team, what are the sort of key things that you think are important to have in place? Oh, I think we've lost Deb for the moment there, guys. So I'll just touch on it.
No.
Sorry, go on.
I'm back.
You're back.
I apologize.
No, you're all good.
Yep, I had my mic muted. It really depends on what you're gearing up for, as far as what you need in place when creating. There's so many team leaders out there that, because it's a competitive setting, it's an esports setting, they want to come in very, very hard-nosed, rule-oriented, and almost like a drill sergeant. I've seen it in the past. I've seen teams do it, and I'm not going to lie. There was a point in my career where I felt I needed to be hard-nosed with my team on things. But ultimately, what I tell these team leaders is, remember, this is a video game, guys. We're playing a video game here. This is the hobby. This is the fun stuff. So you've got to maintain that and keep leading and running your team. And I would say the biggest thing that you have to be able to do is you can't give your members that you wouldn't be willing to do yourself. Whether it's time, work, whatever it may be, as the leader, you have to lead by example, and you can't ask your team to do anything that you wouldn't be more than willing to do yourself. Whether it be putting time in with practices or training members for different roles, tank repairs, support, things like that. You have to lead by example. I think if you're going to build a team, you have to be ready to sacrifice time. You have to be ready to put your team above yourself and really just start to build a brotherhood rather than build a competitive team. If you're trying to start up a competitive team, you have got to start with cohesion and just building up time in with your players. So that's what I would focus on first. If I was to start another team, it would be based on kind of the similar way that I started, my first team on Battlefield was, it was guys that I played with. We knew how each other was going to react. We knew what they were going to do. And then we just kind of evolved it from there. And as we got into bringing on more members, that's where it gets tricky. And you've got to delegate responsibilities out to members that have been there, give them higher positions and have them in turn pass that cohesion training down the next guy and the next guy and the next guy to where everybody's kind of mingled in, and again, it really depends on what type of mode you plan on competing in. We have to imagine, again, there's been nothing released on an official competitive Battlefield mode for Battlefield 5, but I've said it before, I don't think that they would have dumped as much resources into incursions as they did if they're not going to come out with something on Battlefield 5. That being said, unfortunately, it's probably going to be smaller. So if a team is looking to build a new team geared for that smaller stuff, it's going to be a lot easier to, let's say that a scenario 5v5, you're going to have 8 to 10 players on your team that are going to be competing. You know, I wouldn't go too far over that if I were for that. So that being said, it makes things a lot easier because you don't have to worry about cohesion across 5 different squads. Now, if you're going into large scale battlefield, 12v12, 16v16s, 20v20s, that's when it becomes way more difficult. And that's why I have so much respect for our large scale team leaders, because I've been there. I've led, you know, a team of 60, 80, up to 250 members. And it's really easy to build that cohesion and that awareness with 5 guys, 8 guys, you know, that you're playing with every night all the time. But when it comes down to playing with, you know, 20 players on the field, you've got 4 different squads out there. To maintain that cohesion, you have got to put your squads in place as far as infantry, armor, air. And then within your team, you have an army, a navy, and an air force type of deal. Because, you know, if you're familiar with the military and how that goes, those guys are always taking shots at each other. You know, this guy's no good, you know, this the Marines this and the Army that, and you know, they're always kind of taking little shots at each other. But at the end of the day, when they hit the battlefield together, they are brothers and they know what each one is going to do. And I ran my team the same way. You know, my armor guys always played together. My infantry guys always played together. My air guys always played together. But they went to the map walkthroughs. They knew who was doing what for each one, or for each squad. And especially when a squad would be assisting another squad, when the air would assist the armor as far as lasing targets back in Battlefield 4, they always knew what was going on. And when it came time to hit the battlefield, they performed really well. I kind of drug that out, but as a team leader, as a former team leader, I'm very, very, I spent a lot of time working on just that, on getting the team cohesion down. So ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're starting a new team, cohesion is the first thing you want to work on, and respect for your team and for your players.
So there you go, guys. There you have it. A little bit of information there on how to go about setting things up and running things, leading from the front, setting by example, and that will lead you put you ahead of the game there in starting up an effective esports team. All right, guys, running into the last 10 minutes of the podcast here, guys. We're going to have a little discussion around the All-Star match. Unfortunately, I was at work for this, so I'm going to be relying on Dead quite heavily, but I believe it was an extremely successful and fun event for the casual community and the competitive players out there who got involved. Dead, how did it go? Are you muted again?
What were you saying? Oh, I think I might have lost him completely. I believe, however, he was asking about the All-Star match and how that went. So the All-Star match went extremely well. It was our second annual All-Star match. We did one last year, and last year we did it with the staff leading up the team. So we had upper management versus, well, since we lost him, can y'all still hear me? Yeah, y'all can still hear me. We had upper management versus the mod squad. So it was some of our higher ranking staff members got in the best players from the league. This year, we changed it up a little bit. Toe You Up, going, man, for those of you that don't know, one of our stream team members, you can catch him third hardcore league. Awesome guy. Plays with one hand and one foot. That's right, you heard it right. You're gonna have to go to his channel though to see it, to believe it. So be sure to drop him a follow. But our All-Star match it was designed to bring in the best players from the competitive community onto the field and mix them up. And so that's what we did last year. That's what we did this year. Now this year we also invited some of our casual community players from the Girl Club Soldiers and the league. We were in there as well. I had an opportunity to shoutcast that. I had I had a great time shoutcasting it. The two teams, what we did different this year was we had two of our team leaders from two of our prominent teams, Point Gap and Prototype, which was going to be Lions and Washed Up, led these two teams for the All-Star match, and we had them pick their teams out of the teams that signed up. Had a huge turnout this year. A lot of players on the field. PAL come in, the Phoenix Elite Aerial League. They donated some pilots to the cause, and they were in there as well. We did a live draft. We plan on elevating that every year. We'll see the All-Star match come back next year, bigger and better. And it went extremely well. Is some very good games, and I had a great time shoutcasting it.
I think what's great is we're getting into the stage now where we've been running the league sort of almost sort of coming up to, I think we hit the 4-year mark yet, but we're definitely getting to the point where we're having these annual events and we're starting to see some consistency. So that's great because it's building up memories for people. It's definitely going to be a great way of looping back in each year and coming back and seeing just who whether it's the same members or whether it's different members, and I'm sure we'll be able to run some footage from the previous year just to be able to sort of compare how things have changed really. But guys, thank you very much for joining us. That does conclude this evening's podcast. Myself, KLW, HitmanPike, Battlefield Esports shoutcaster with the Hardcore League, producer of Shots Fired Podcasting, and of course Mr. DEADEYE, the founder of Hardcore League, the man himself. We thank him so much for coming on board. It's been wonderful having this discussion. You will be hearing a lot more from myself, DEADEYE, Real Dum Dum, Psycho, and a couple of the other podcasters over the next few weeks. We'll be locking down a solid podcast rota, which will be getting advertised via the website, hardcoreleague.co, and on Twitch, Facebook, and all other various forms of social media. Guys, once again, thank you so much for joining us. You are the community. You guys are awesome. We do what we do for you, and you are our passion. So in the meantime, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic evening. Looking forward to this weekend's events. We've got an incredible list of events coming up. We've got Phoenix Elite Aerial League running their stage 1 of the flight path to Battlefield 5, and that will be commencing, we believe, at... Did we lock this down to 4 p.m. Eastern? Sorry, 4 p.m. Central?
I believe it's 4 p.m. Central. Is when that is going to kick off, and then later on in the evening, which this was just brought to my attention not too long ago, we're going to see a little LRRP versus LRRP internal event. So I'm going to be trying to get in on that. That'll be 7 p.m. on Saturday. We're going to see where the dogfight tournament goes, and try to get in on that as well, which we've seen several teams do this before. It's always a good time. We cover that for AOD every year. If you're not familiar with AOD, they're a PC team, very large team, and we cover their internal clan matches. And sometimes when a team has a lot of players, they will end up doing an internal tournament / event, and so LRP will be doing one of these this Saturday as well, after the flight path to Battlefield 5 tournament going on over there at PAL. So
yeah, that's going to be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing LRP rip into each other, which will be definitely ironic because those guys are such a tight community, and despite recent trials and tribulations, that community is just coming out strong in competitively, and are just absolute beacon to the rest of the Battlefield esports community. Just a prime example of how well esports teams can be run, and we've got some great teams out there, but LRP definitely, especially considering what they've been through, are just on point, and a lot of respect for them and their members. All right, guys.
No, absolutely. I want to hit on that as well. LRP is definitely one of the poster child for Battlefield, for competitive Battlefield, in my opinion. Not just because they're a big team and they're good, because of the way that their team is run. It's run with professionalism, honor, respect. All the things that you would see in any sport. And I think often because esports is largely online, until you get onto the big stage, a lot of people don't feel they need to operate with the same professionalism that any other sport would operate with, and there are teams out there that understand that, and LRP is definitely one of them. They understand that you still want to operate professional, and
That's a new word.
and with good sportsmen. Yep, new word. Tricodon in the chat. We also saw Medicine House said Enjoy and Raven have a scrimmage Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that's going to be 8 p.m. Central. If we're done with LRP, we may just make a whole bad gum night of it and cover it all if we can. That should be a pretty good matchup. Enjoy versus Raven scrimmage. Both of those teams are very good, so that will be exciting to see as well.
And just to touch on it again, guys, I know we mentioned it earlier, but if you do have an event, either as a team, whatever it is, and you want a shoutcaster, you want it advertised, you want Hardcore League to get behind it, we are so ready to do that. All we ask is that you head over to the website, hardcoreleague.co, go under events, fill out the form. It takes literally 30 seconds. If you don't have the time, or you literally don't have, that's not an issue. Just let a member of Hardcore League staff know, and specifically tell them that you want them to put it on the website, and just provide as much information as you can, and that member of staff will upload it to the website for you. But ideally, if you can get if you can fit it in there, it's 2 minutes. Hardcoreleague.com.
And our events coordinators are listed there on the site under staff. You can contact our events coordinators, our community managers. HitmanPike here is our EU community manager. So they will, again, we've got staff in every different department, events, competitive, you name it. We've got a staff member there to get you covered and getting you taken care of. So if you've got something going, an event, a scrimmage, even if we're not able to cover it with a shoutcaster, it'll still go on our events calendar. But if you get it on our events calendar, it gives you a greater chance of having a shoutcaster. As much as we run around the community and hang out in different places, we often miss things posted on social media. But our shoutcasters and our staff are always checking that calendar. So if you guys got an event going on, be sure to follow that link there in the chat, or hit up one of our event coordinators or any one of our staff members that can be found on our website under staff, under the HL team. If you're not sure who to talk to, hit up any one of them. They will point you in the right direction and get you over to the person that can help you get it on the calendar, walk you through it, what have you. Also, again, sign up for that newsletter. If you missed it, you're going to want to come back and watch this cast again. I dropped a lot of information about the new website that we're going to be releasing for our teams and the community. You are going to want to check it out if you haven't already done so.
Absolutely, Dead. Guys, definitely do rewatch this podcast. There has been some incredible developments, and I am very excited. You guys will be very excited. Do check it out. Oh dear me, getting tongue-tied now. Do watch the rewatch. What am I saying? I'm just going to stop. Guys, that concludes 1 hour of our second podcast here at the Shots Fired Podcasting. Thank you very much for joining us. Look forward to catching you again soon. Peace out.